Scientists have searched for immortality for thousands of years. Emperors poisoned themselves drinking mercury. Alchemists spent lifetimes chasing the philosopher's stone. Billionaires today are spending hundreds of millions trying to reverse aging. They were all looking in the wrong place. Because deep beneath the surface of the ocean, in the warm waters of the Mediterranean Sea, there lives a creature the size of a human fingernail that has already solved the problem of death. It doesn't fight aging. It doesn't slow it down. It reverses it completely, and it has been doing this long before humans existed. This is the story of Turritopsis dohrnii, the immortal jellyfish. And once you understand how it works, you'll never look at life the same way again. Most people have never heard of Turritopsis dohrnii. It doesn't have a threatening name. It doesn't look dangerous. It's not the size of a whale or the speed of a marlin. It's a tiny jellyfish, about 4 to 5 millimeters wide, roughly the size of a pinky fingernail. It's almost completely transparent. You can see its bright red stomach through its body. Its bell is shaped like a thimble. It has between 8 and 90 thin, delicate tentacles depending on its age. On the surface, completely unremarkable. But this animal carries a biological secret that has stunned the scientific community and rewritten what we thought was possible for living things. To understand the secret, you first need to understand how jellyfish normally live. Most jellyfish follow a predictable life cycle. It goes in one direction, it does not go backwards. A jellyfish starts as a fertilized egg. The egg becomes a larva called a planula. The planula attaches to a surface on the ocean floor and becomes a polyp, a tiny, stationary, tube-shaped organism. The polyp then buds off small swimming creatures called epherae. The epherae grow into Medusae. The Medusae, the bell-shaped, tentacled form we recognize as a jellyfish. The Medusa matures, it reproduces, and then it dies. That is the standard jellyfish story. Birth, growth, reproduction, death. Turritopsis dohrnii does not follow this story. The discovery of the jellyfish's immortality was almost an accident. In 1988, a German marine biology student named Christian Sommer was collecting specimens. He was collecting marine organisms in the Mediterranean Sea near Rapallo, Italy. He was studying the mating habits of hydrozoans. He collected Turritopsis dohrnii specimens and placed them in petri dishes to observe them. What happened next confused him. Instead of dying after reproducing, as every other jellyfish he'd ever studied had done, the Turritopsis dohrnii specimens began to change. Their bodies shrunk, their tentacles retracted, their bell collapsed, and then they settled onto the bottom of the petri dish and transformed back into polyps. They had regressed. They had gone backwards, from adult to juvenile to infant stage, as if a fully grown butterfly had climbed back into its cocoon and become a caterpillar again. Sommer didn't know what to make of it. He published his observations. It wasn't until 1996 that Italian scientists published a formal paper on the phenomenon. They named it Transdifferentiation, and it changed everything. Transdifferentiation is one of the most remarkable biological processes ever documented. Every cell in your body has a job. A skin cell is a skin cell. Once a cell has become something, under normal circumstances, it stays that thing. That is a fundamental rule of biology. Turritopsis dohrnii breaks that rule. When the jellyfish is stressed, starving, physically damaged, old, or sick, it activates a biological emergency protocol. Its mature cells literally transform. Muscle cells become nerve cells. Nerve cells become muscle cells. Specialized adult cells revert to unspecialized stem cells. The entire organism, its body, its identity, restructures itself from the inside out. And in doing so, it becomes young again. Actually, biologically young. It reverts to its polyp stage, a state it existed in at the beginning of its life, and then begins the aging process again from scratch. It can do this indefinitely. There is no known limit to the number of times it can repeat the cycle. Injured, revert, old, revert, starving, revert. Begin again. Let's go deeper. In 1961, Leonard Hayflick discovered that normal human cells can only divide a limited number of times, around 40 to 60 times. Every time your cells divide, tiny molecular caps at the end of your chromosomes, called telomeres, get shorter. When they get too short, aging accelerates. Systems fail. Turritopsis dohrnii appears to reset this process. Its telomeres are restored. Its cells regain the regenerative capacity of young cells. The biological clock is rewound. In 2022, researchers sequenced the entire genome. They found higher levels of genes responsible for DNA repair and telomere maintenance. The jellyfish has evolved a biological toolkit for defeating aging. Scientists believe this jellyfish may hold the answers to some of the most important medical questions: cancer research, neurodegenerative diseases, organ regeneration. The leap from jellyfish to humans is enormous, but the roadmap exists now. For the first time in history, we are not guessing about immortality, we are studying it. It is not truly immortal in the popular sense. It can be killed. A predator eating it kills it. Disease can kill it, but it can escape the internal death sentence of aging. Turritopsis dohrnii has become one of the most invasive species. It travels in the ballast water of ships. It is now in Japan, Panama, the US, Australia. Everywhere ships travel. Because it can revert to its polyp stage whenever conditions are unfavorable, it survives journeys that would kill other species. It is a biological wildcard. Population is growing uncontrollably. Turritopsis dohrnii has no brain, no heart, no bones, and yet it has done something no human has managed. It cheated death by refusing to follow the rules. The question is, what does it mean for us? If the code for immortality exists, what responsibility comes with eventually unlocking it for humans? Who decides who gets access? What happens to a civilization where people stop dying? What does meaning look like when there is no ending? The jellyfish doesn't think about any of this. It just begins again, quiet and transparent in the dark water, carrying the oldest secret in the ocean, and we are only now, finally, starting to read it.